Howdy everyone, my name is Creepydrawstas, and welcome to a new series I'm starting up to count down the days to Halloween. I don't want to call it like Creepydrawsta. I originally got this idea from Lavendertowne. She's another YouTuber, link will be in the description, and she inspired this series for me as well because I wanted to try it out. All these stories I'm getting are from r/noslate on Reddit, and all the links will be in the description. So this story is called Why I Quit Delivering Food by Mr. Michael Squid. I've been dash delivering for a few months now and enjoy the freedom of not having a boss order me around. I can play whatever music I want in my car and take jobs I want and skip the ones that tip poorly. I'm not saving much due to gas costs, but I am saving and I was enjoying seeing new places and meeting new people. That changed after I received a notification for a $150 paying delivery. Immediately, I swiped accept and then pulled over to read it. I first expected this to be some out-of-state delivery to some rich individual longing for some Michelin-rated specialty. I regretted not checking the distance first, and after reading the address, I found it was a bit out in the sticks, but still very worth the easy $150. I sighed with relief and pressed the GPS button to bring up the map to a restaurant named Danny's that I'd not previously heard of. The sun was setting early, as it does in October, and I had put my lights on by the time I made it to the less populated corner of the town where the restaurant was apparently located. Dinner brings the best tips, but I hate driving at night since it's harder to find restaurants without a Boolean Basilone logo lit up in neon. That, and I have always harbored some lurking fear of a delivery turned mugging, or worse, some gang-initiated killing. Rare as it is, it has happened. You have arrived at your destination, the soothing voice of the GPS alerted me. I slowed to a stop, confused. I was on a dark residential street, no sign of a restaurant in sight. Where Danny's was supposed to be was a dark gap in between two homes. I checked it again, even typed the restaurant name into maps outside a delivery app, but nothing popped up. I realized then it might have been a glitch. In retrospect, $150 for a 30-minute delivery sounded too good to be true. I sighed and began searching the app for the troubleshooting menu when a loud slap on the passenger side window caused me to jump in my skin. A man stood outside my car, his hand pressed against the pane. I rolled down the window only a crack. "You the delivery driver?" he asked, and my mouth went dry. I didn't want to say yes because the vision of the pistol pulled and a muzzle flash kept playing in my mind. But he seemed harmless enough. Older too, mid-50s, receding hairline, thin frame, not quite the gang initiation type. I was fairly certain everyone knew that delivery drivers nowadays don't carry cash. "Yeah, I'm looking for Danny's restaurant. Is it near here?" The man just looked at me with a hollow stare before raising his other hand. The fear of an impending bullet to the brain immediately dissipated when I saw a large plastic bag. I sighed out in relief and lowered the window, accepting the delivery. It was a large, much larger than I was used to delivering. I typically receive a styrofoam container or two, a drink as well. This plastic bag contained a stapled paper, one filled out nearly to the top. I needed to use both hands to accept it. I placed a surprisingly heavy meal on the passenger seat, staring at it for a moment before looking up again. "Thank you." My words tapered off as I realized the man was already a few yards back. I watched him disappear into the shadow-filled gap between the houses. I had no idea where he was going or where he had come from. Dark curiosity led me back to the app to see what I was even delivering. My confusion was only heightened when I read the order. Danny's. It simply said where cheeseburger, fries, and the like would typically be listed for me to check off upon pickup. Despite the questions that kept tugging at my resolve, $150 for this awkward delivery was the overpowering factor. I swiped the slide after pickup bottom bar to continue the delivery. The GPS once again popped up, and I stared at the large green areas encompassing the pinpoint. My insides squirmed a bit at the revelation. The delivery address seemed to be in the middle of the woods. I shifted into drive and followed the directions onto the highway. The sun had fully set, but the tunes in the radio had kept me in good spirits. Few people were on the road, so I was making great time and could call an early night after this gig. The miles counted down from 15 to 10 to 5. The off-ramp camp came into view, and the large pine trees on either side of the highway continued to darken the path as I merged onto smaller roads. With every mile further into the wilderness, my uneasiness grew. More than a few times my eyes darted over to the suspicious double-bagged delivery on my street. My heart raced as my mind played tricks on me in the shrouding darkness of the tall trees on either side. I did a double take when I thought I saw the bag rustle. Something within appeared to have moved. The last turn on the GPS signaled me for to take a left. It was a turn off to the paved asphalt road and onto the dirt road that cut into the woods. I slowed to a stop and double-checked the app, praying that there was some sort of mistake. On occasion, the wrong address was listed. No luck, however. My destination was half a mile to the dense wall of pines. I took the turn, slowly drove into the dark tunnel, cutting through the arcing trees. I could barely see the sky due to the dense copse overhead, just darkness broken by the limb-like branches. With each rocking of the chassis and each bump in the narrow dirt road, the heavy bag on the passenger seat seemed to rustle. I fixed my eyes on the road, deciding not to look at it after I began to hear a faint noise emitting from the stapled inner bag. A noise that sounded like a faint wheezing. By the time I arrived at the destination, my knuckles were white from gripping the wheel so hard. I was sweating, despite the autumnal chill that had breached my car and clothing. This part of the woods seemed colder than any part of the drive by at least 10 degrees. I shifted into park and looked at the app screen, the only source of light aside from my headlights, which faded only a few meters out. The address was supposedly on the left. The instructions said, "Leave at door." There was no house in sight, however. It had to be a glitch of sorts. Above all else, I didn't want to leave the safety of my vehicle. This entire delivery had been all wrong. Something dreadful about it had made me crave a shower. It made me want to run screaming from the situation I unknowingly got myself into. I saw the bag shift in my peripheral vision and I let out a glottal yelp. I hurriedly opened the car door and got out, eager to distance myself with whatever was in that bag. I then navigated the menu of the app on my phone screen, seeking out the cancel order option. My score would go down. I missed out on the money, but I'd be able to get out of this strange gig I wanted nothing more to do with. I was about to press confirm on the cancellation when I spotted the door. A few meters to my left, illuminated only faintly from the light of my phone screen, stood a door. It looked ancient, its thick wooden beams bone white from the petrification. The design was archaic, something that belonged to the side of a medieval European church. Black steel hinges and latches ornamented it, but the most noticeable feature was the one it was missing. The door housed a frame of charred black beams, but aside from that, it wasn't attached to anything. I stared at the structure and felt my heartbeat quicken. Dread and curiosity battled within my scrambling mind as I tried to register what this door was and why it was out here. I took a few hesitant steps towards it and felt the hairs on my body rise. With every step towards the detached door, the temperature dropped. I stepped around the unnatural thing to peer behind it, and sure enough, there was nothing behind it but endless trunks of trees. I made it this far, and I just wanted to get my money and get out. With a few deep breaths, I returned to my car and opened the passenger door. With 2 hands, I lifted the heavy delivery, which shook my shivering arms. It moved. Something gasped and gurgled from within, but I continued carrying the parcel over to that strange door. My teeth chattered from the chill as I placed the large bag on the dead leaves in the front of the door. I took a photo to verify the delivery, then swiped to complete it, and with that, I rushed back to my car and got inside as quickly as possible. I then heard the faint cries of an infant. I saw the bag shift and shake, poked outward from the inside. I shifted in reverse and began to backtrack down the pitch-black road into the heart of the woods, but not before I saw the door creak open. Not before I saw that rotted black arm with long, desiccated fingers reach out eagerly. I watched it yank that screeching delivery bag into the impossible space behind the door that should not exist.